What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to rank the Life is Strange games. Now, for anybody that has been following me for any stretch of time, they will probably already know the list just on the back of their hand. You know what I mean? I talk about it so much, I whine about it so much that I think it's very hard. However, I'm always up for new people, and I hope there always are new people that watch my videos, so welcome in to the channel. But, for those people, they may not know, right? And True Colors, again, as we've talked about so many times, and I love saying it, surprised the living heck out of me because I love it to death. I think it's a phenomenal game. I think Life is Strange is back, which is maybe a hot take because I think it went completely off the rails with Life is Strange 2, but I think it's back. Not necessarily better than ever, but definitely really, really amazing. Now, we've already talked about several different things. Actually, I do have a second channel, shameless plug. I do have a second channel where I actually compared the characters of Alex and Max. So I didn't do that on the main channel. I did a lot of other videos here, but if you guys want to check that out, my second channel is in the description. So, I covered more of it over there. All right, so this is going to be pretty darn easy. Obviously, I'll go into some explanations along the way. Let's go worst to best, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this game because I don't think it deserves it, and I also think that I make people upset when I talk about it. Life is Strange 2 is easily, in my opinion, very important to say, right, the worst game. And we've talked about it before. There's more reasons than just what people will harp on me with, the politics. I know people like to say it's not a political game. It's only political if you're racist or if you're this or that, and calling me all these different names. I get it, and people can be mad all they want. I do think forcing politics down our throat in that game was not a good idea. I do think we've seen the reverse example of when you just make characters good, when you have diversity, which I'm not against, but you just make it natural. Characters can be whoever they want to be. You can play as different genders, different races, whatever, but if they're not good characters and you're supposed to like them because of diversity and because you're just supposed to, that's not how you do anything. And that's actually how Hollywood does most of the stuff they do nowadays. But that's honestly only one small part. Like I've said before, I do not like the Brothers on the Run idea. I do think it's a good idea, and I do think it's something that's been done obviously before, but I just don't think it works in a Life is Strange game. One of the main things I said when that game came out is I don't think it's actually a Life is Strange game. I think they wanted to make a political statement. I think they wanted to tell kind of a brother's story, and some of those things were a little bit Life is Strange, but not really, and that's kind of what they went with. And that's it. I don't like the two characters. I don't like the Force power. Using the Force is cool, but Jedis can do that, and I guess just Daniel can as well, but they never let us like an area. They never let us like side characters. They did that weird thing in episode 4 with the priest cult, which I thought was just literally an entirely different game. The 5th episode was literally just about the wall and political statements. It wasn't about anything else. And so I've said it before. We've said it through many different videos. I won't harp on it too much more. I don't like the game. I know people don't necessarily agree with that. That's fine. We can disagree and move on. Next one is Before the Storm. I do think Before the Storm is better than Life is Strange 2 by a lot. And I get that people don't necessarily... there's a split. What I've noticed... when Before the Storm came out, I really liked it. In fact, I loved it. And I was like, wow, they know what they're doing. The farewell episode, by the way, which I would include... if people aren't including it, the farewell episode I do think is included in Before the Storm. That's an incredible... That maybe is still my favorite episode of Life is Strange to date. And maybe it's a nostalgia thing, being able to say goodbye to these characters one last time. You kind of a while, actually, 2 years, right? After the first game came out, being able to go back in with the original voices, Ashley Birch, Hannah Tell, and just kind of play as them one last... It was an hour and 15 minutes. It was a short thing, but I loved it. And then the actual game, the talkback thing isn't great. I know some people don't like Chloe at all, and I understand that. I understand that. I actually don't agree though. And again, see, it's cool to disagree. The whole idea of this is just my opinion. I actually did like her. I liked her and Rachel. I liked the emotion there. The play, I often think back, specifically because of the LARP session in Life is Strange True Colors. I think back, and in my opinion, that's why they did it. You know what I mean? I think they've proven in the past that they're into doing kind of weird stuff, almost taking you out of the game and doing something quite different and then putting you back into it. That's what the LARPing session was, and that's what the play was, I think, in Before the Storm. So I I liked a lot of it. I did. I didn't think it was perfect. I really, if we're being honest with each other, I don't remember too much of it. So maybe if I played it again, because I've only played it once. I actually live streamed myself play it, so I do have the videos on the channel of me playing all the episodes, so maybe I can go back and watch it. But no, I mean, I'll play it again in the remastered collection. I think that'll be a good test. It's been, what, 3-4 years since Before the Storm came out, so it's been quite a while. I have fond memories of it, but maybe it doesn't hold up as well right now. I know Life is Strange 1 held up for me back in 2019, so hopefully that still holds up for me now. But no, I have faith in it, but I'll try it again. But I really liked Before the Storm. For me, it's easy, right? Because I hate Life is Strange 2 so much. I'd put anything above it, and I'd also, I do like Before the Storm, but I mean, it's not even also in the same, stratosphere as the other two, in my opinion. Number 2 is Life is Strange True Colors. It's close. It is extremely close. I think there are people that I've seen on the channel that said this is easily their favorite. This does beat Life is Strange 1. Again, that's kind of why I wanted to talk about Alex versus Max, because they're both very similar characters, and people did, comment on that on this channel. Again, I made that video on the second channel. They're characters that are very similar. You can tell they were going, and really, I mean, here's why. True Colors really is Life is Strange 1 again, but different. And so I don't say like, oh, they're literally copying it, but I really do, in my heart of hearts, I believe Deck Nine went back to the drawing board and said, what is, again, Don't Nod made the others, you know what I mean? They made 1 and 2, but I do think when Deck Nine was looking at making True Colors, they said, what makes Life is Strange Life is Strange? It's probably the first game. So let's make a character that maybe is a lot like Matt. Even let's do the music thing, right? Let's do that. Let's capture why is Arcadia Bay special. Let's figure that out, and let's do that for Haven Springs. Why are these side characters special? Let's do that again, and let's do a new cast. We'll bring in Steph from before, which was a great idea. She's a phenomenal character. Let's do that. Let's make a power that's different. And maybe doesn't come across as like super powerful at first, but like has some depth to it, much like time travel. Now, as I've said, I don't think any power is ever gonna beat time travel, just because it's so weird and so different, and like the possibilities are so endless. Nothing, in my opinion, except for like maybe I was gonna say reading minds, and she can kind of do that, but only through emotion. You know what I mean? I guess that would maybe be one of the only things that could maybe be as powerful as it. But again, I mean, it's an incredible game. It really is. I mean, visually, it's like I actually will watch, because I captured, like I played the whole game and I captured all of it, right? Like I recorded myself playing all of it, and I'll sometimes just watch it and be like, I can't believe how good it looks. The colors, literally, I mean, it's such a cliche because that's the name of the game, right? But the colors of this game are incredible. Visually, it's stunning. Like, their faces, when they make like the awkward kind of faces, or like shy faces, or anger faces, like you can see it, and you could never do that. That's actually why it's I think it's closer than maybe it should be for Alex and Max, right? Because I do think if you made Max right now, obviously she'd be like, Hannah Tell did a good job voicing her, but I think you'd be able to get a whole new dimension from her, because you'd be able to get a lot more expressions and emotions from her, from just her character model, than you can from what we have right now. You know what I mean? So I actually think like the technology has definitely helped the newer games and hurt the older games, because you just can't get that from the older games. Those games are more held up on the characters, on the story, on the, I don't know, like us connecting to them, right? That's what those games kind of hold up more on. But I'm really happy, which I mean, just throughout, I'm very happy with True Colors. And again, I made a review on it. All that, there's been plenty of stuff I've talked about True Colors. And finally, like I said, Life is Strange. Max is still my favorite character. She's still one of my favorite characters in all of gaming. Time travel is still the cooler power, and one of the coolest powers. I don't know. I love it. Again, I've talked about this many times before. It's incredible. Again, I haven't played it in 2 years now, and I'll play it again for the remastered collection, but it holds up in my head, that's for sure, and I've played it. I actually think I've played it like 3 or 4 times. It's an incredible game. I mean, these characters are special. The kind of the misdirection of Jefferson and Prescott, and I don't know, like, they tell so many different stories. That's one of the things that I would say maybe that's a weakness of True Colors, where it is very grounded, but when you really think of like what happens in it, it actually isn't all that much. You know what I mean? I don't want to go into like spoilers, but like the central plot of like trying to figure stuff out, that actually ends at the end of episode 3. And then like 4 and 5 4 is really like kind of separate. 3, for most of it's actually completely separate as well because of the LARP session. So I would argue like it's more of a detailed story. 1 is more of a detailed story. It's got a lot of layers to it, as we talked about, right? With all the different things you'd maybe experience as a teenager and losing your best friend, and then they kind of like come back into your life. And so it does more than just the power stuff, but that's a very huge part of it as well. It's got jaw-dropping moments, whereas True Colors really only has 1, and a lot of people saw it coming. So again, I mean, look, I'm not saying like True Colors is a perfect game. I can pick on it a little bit, but I do want to respect them as they're amazing games, and I really love both of them. But I just think 1 is way more detailed. There's more stuff going on. They nail more things than True Colors. I think I'll always think that. I said it really as a negative for True Colors, like big time before it came out, and I think that's why I kind of dropped my expectations. I kept saying nothing is ever going to beat 1. I don't think you can ever beat Life is Strange, in my opinion, just for me. When I'm playing a Life is Strange game, 1 is that benchmark, and I don't really know if any game can ever reach it. And maybe that, lowers how I think of all these games. But then again, True Colors was like, holy Jesus, it got very, like, you are way closer to, like, becoming the new ruler of the kingdom than I thought you were going to be. You know what I mean? And that's a very special thing, I think, to do. Again, it's one of the reasons why Deck 9 needs to continue this, and Don't Nod should never touch it again. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to support us on Twitter, I actually have a Twitter account as well. Second channel that I've mentioned. Also, we have Patreon and YouTube memberships. Links for all of them are in the description below if you guys want to check it out. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.